Hidden away in a secret building in Los Angeles, there's millions of dollars worth of Chrome Hearts, Goyard, and your favorite designer brands. This exclusive showroom is servicing your favorite celebrities, athletes, and content creators. A luxury resale business that's built on curation, exclusivity, and endless inventory. But how do they get access to some of the rarest pieces on the market? Why is the store hidden away versus being on Rodeo Drive? And how much money can a business like this actually make? This is Showroom LA, and today we're getting an inside look of their entire operation. From sourcing inventory to selling million-dollar pieces, this is Superline, we're behind the brand. Now let's get into the video. Where are we at right now?
We're at the Showroom LA in Los Angeles, California.
It's like a museum in here.
It's a private curated showroom where we have some of the hottest brands. Chrome Hearts, Louis Vuitton, pretty much anything you could think hot, streetwear, we have it.
So when they say showroom, what is the difference between like a showroom and like a store in the mall?
We're private, we only take appointments, so you have to book an appointment with us, and somebody at the mall, you may feel like a fly on the wall at a store. We have sales associates that work with you one-on-one to help you pick out some pieces that you'll really love.
Is there like a minimum? Like if I want to book an appointment, I got to spend like a certain amount, or how does that work?
There's no minimum. We obviously would appreciate if somebody comes here with the intention of buying something, but you know, if we don't have anything you like, which probably would be hard, then it's no pressure at all. So
can you walk me through the selection?
Yeah, of course. This is all the newest Chrome.
How much are these?
These I think are 12,000. These are expensive. These are newer.
12,000?
Yeah, Chrome Hearts Carpenter shorts. Retailed, I think like 4,000 or 5,000. But the resale is crazy.
And how are you sourcing these? People that have a Chrome account are coming?
Yeah,
to sell
so
them?
we can't disclose all of our plugs,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, some of our people get it directly from Chrome.
And the person that's getting it from Chrome, how are they getting it? Do they have like an account, or how does that work?
Yeah, they'll have an account, they'll have a direct relationship, they'll get the pieces at retail from the store.
If Chrome found out that they were reselling it to you, they would get banned?
Bad look, yes, correct. But
so they gotta do
that's
it on
why we
low-key.
we can't disclose all of our sources, but yeah, that would be a super bad look. But Chrome definitely looks down on reselling.
You think Chrome likes you reselling this for 12,000? Because I feel like that helps them, no?
I would say yeah. I think it's a good positive thing because it increases the brand value. If you can't get it, you have to get it from here. It makes it more desirable. Think about the Birkin bag, right? Those are all more expensive than retail. What does everybody want? A Birkin bag. So I think it's the same kind of
concept.
Yeah, supply and demand joint.
I know a lot of brands probably want to be inside of here. What's the filter on that? Because like GV, you know, HMDD, like they're great brands, but they're not Chrome, they're not Louis Vuitton. So what makes you want to put in like a independently owned brand into the showroom?
First of all, if I like it or my staff, you know, likes it and requests it, we'll see a lot of feedback. We'll get a lot of feedback from customers. Like one of the brands that's been really hot for us is Pally. A lot of people were requesting it. So, hey, you got any Pally? Hey, you got Pally? We started carrying it a few years ago. It's been super hot ever since. So it's kind of like seeing what the customers want, kind of staying up on the streetwear scene and seeing what's popular, and then just going from there. So
essentially, if it has a demand outside in the streets, then you're going to carry it.
Correct, absolutely.
And when you get those brands, are you buying these from resellers, or are you going direct to the brands? Can you disclose that?
Brands, yeah, direct to the brands. Yeah, so we'll have direct relationships with them. We'll get the product from them directly and then put it in here. And
if I wanted to run a showroom, how do I get like in contact with the owner of GV and HMDD? Is it just a DM, a text message?
Man, I wouldn't say there's a super great way to go about that. I kind of got lucky. A lot of the relationships I fostered over the years and kind of just was able to turn into something. So I would say it's just getting out there, networking, reaching out on Instagram, meeting people in person. Maybe if they have a pop-up going in, meeting the owners. Instagram's a great way to get in touch.
And do they give you a special price because you're Showroom LA, or do you just buy it at the same price?
That's a great question. I would say we don't really get any like crazy special treatment. We might get products early. We might get products at a wholesale amount, so we'll get a lot of it versus like only a few, but we don't really get as much love as you would think.
What about this? I see this. This is the wall of all the celebrities that have come in here?
Yeah. So this is a lot of clients that came in here. We try to take a Polaroid to commemorate it, so it's a good remembrance for us. Like we got some, you know, we're in the NBA Finals. We got Wemby in here, Dylan Harper.
Wemby in here?
Yeah. This is our old store.
What did Wemby buy?
He bought a bunch of Chrome pieces, not Chrome pieces, clothing pieces. So he bought like a couple shirts. He actually bought that gallery shirt he was wearing there, and then he actually bought shoes off us.
You have Wemby size shoes?
We had size 18 Air Forces that fit him. So when his first trip to LA, when he was traveling, he was staying close by our old store, and he didn't have any his luggage all got lost. And he borrowed like a few things because he's French, so some of the stuff from Rudy Gobert, he borrowed from him, but he didn't have much else. So we had been in contact with him. He'd been talking to us on Instagram. He's like, I need to come by, get some stuff. Came
crazy.
by, grabbed some pieces. It ended up working out. So
what's the bag? What's the ticket total that he spent that day?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was a decent amount. Like he bought a bunch of clothes.
What's a decent amount? Your decent amount is different from like regular people's decent amount.
Hey, I can't even really say an exact number because I don't remember off the top of my head.
Over 10?
No, it wasn't over 10.
Over 5?
No, I don't even think it was over 5. You gotta remember, this is young Wemby. This is Wemby when he was coming up, still playing overseas. This is before he really made his splash and became an number 1 overall pick.
You've had everyone. You've had Drewski in here.
Yeah, Drewski's came to our store a couple times. He came to both of our stores. I would say, I appreciate all of our clients. They all like show super love.
Who spent the most?
Man, that's a loaded question. I can't answer that one. I would say it's a lot of contenders in that category.
What, and the contenders, can you give me like a how much? Like 50,000, 100,000?
Well, we have a video out actually with Rod. He spent that day like 70K.
70,000?
Yeah, that was crazy.
What did he buy?
He bought a bunch of Chrome, Pally, ERD, all of the most exclusive stuff.
They make Chrome and ERD in his size?
Yeah.
That's like a 5X, no?
Nah, he's not a 5X.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about this? I was looking for a Chrome belt. How much is a Chrome belt gonna cost me? When making large purchases like this Chrome Heart belt, you need to have your finances on lock. And one of the most trustworthy tools to track your cash flow is Relay. Shout out to Relay for sponsoring this video. With Relay, you can open up to 20 checking accounts so that way you can separate income, taxes, payroll, and savings without any fees. This helps you keep your money organized and earmarked for specific purposes. They also have a built-in bill pay and invoice management, so that way you don't have to log into a separate tool to pay vendors or to invoice customers. You can literally track and approve and delegate tasks to your team and have full oversight into the cash that's coming in and out of your business all in one place. Relay gives you one login with full visibility. And the last thing that I love about Relay is that it's fast and simple to open up an account. You can literally open up a business banking with Relay completely online without stepping foot inside of a branch. You know we stay giving y'all free game. Shout out to Relay for sponsoring this video.
I would say they start at like 4,500. Our most crazy setup right now would be this one. This one's about, I think, 27,000. It's a multicolor roller.
And what makes it like on the lower end and what makes it on the higher end?
Just the exclusivity. So this is all multicolored patch, super hot combo. We've had this a few times and it's crazy because we've had it over the last few years and the Chrome prices have continued to rise. Our first one we ever had, we sold for like 10, which I thought was OD at the time. This one we actually bought like shit close to 20. So like the market's just really climbed. Even for us, like we have to make money too.
Yeah.
So we sold one of these at like 9, 10.
And what's the more affordable versions?
I would say like more affordable version would be like a gunslinger joint. This is
So like more basic ones.
This would be basic. It's still not cheap.
And how much is this?
We sell these for like 6,500.
Sheesh.
Yeah, still expensive, but it goes with everything.
You think it's worth it?
That's a loaded question too.
Media trained.
Nah. I would say when you buy it, you can get a lot of your money back on the resale market. So I think it's subjective to anybody's opinion, but I think at least with something like this, you're buying something that's pretty safe. You go to Louis Vuitton, say you buy a belt from there for 3,000.
Just burnt.
If
you resell that belt, how much you getting back?
$500.
And what about this? If you pay
at least you're
$6,500?
getting $4,500 out of it. You're getting something better than a Louis belt, right? More exclusive, and you're really actually losing less than you would have bought the $2,000, $3,000 belt.
And if you're lucky, you could actually make money, right?
Hypothetically. It's not a thing that would happen every time, but we've had plenty of clients that have bought pieces from us, Chrome especially, doubled up, made a couple thousand, 5,000, 10,000 just because they bought it at the right time.
And they get to wear it for free, essentially.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
What about shoes? I know a lot of people say that shoes have died down.
We have all the popular colorways. So like the Rick Owens vintage sneaker, this is the hottest shoe right now. This is the red colorway, has been super hot.
And are you getting these like wholesale from Rick, or are you just buying from other individual resellers?
So we work with Rick directly and like Rick authorized dealers. So we'll get like good Rick size shipments from them. But a lot of times they'll just update us when they come in. We'll get first dibs and we'll have a lot of colorways. So we'll have a lot of colors before they come out.
What's the price on these in the store?
I think the retail price is around $1,200, $1,300 now. This red one especially we sell for a lot just because it's so hard to get our hands on. I think this goes for $2,250.
Do you get these at retail, or do they give you a wholesale price?
So we're getting all of them at retail or above. Just to stock this, we were paying way over retail. Like I was paying like $1,500, $1,600 on these just to stock for certain sizes. People like to say, oh, your prices are higher, all this. Nah, our prices because we are paying a premium to have this premium product, and we want to have it. And to be the one that has it, you have to pay.
Damn, is this a Chrome Air Force One?
Chrome Nocta.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
so that came out, I think that shoe is 10,000.
Damn, for an Air Force One.
Yeah, it's crazy. But they added all the chrome like details to it. It has a special
I'm sorry, I would never. I can't justify.
I wouldn't either on that
And then this is the friends and family, right? You can't even.
Yeah, that's the white party. So this shoe came out specifically for Mike Rubin's party. We were able to get a few of them.
Damn.
That's probably one of our most expensive shoes. That shoe's expensive.
How much is that shoe?
That shoe is 10,000.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What about bags?
We've always been selling bags like Goyard, Louis. Now we're kind of getting into high-end women's bags. So we're doing Chanel, Hermes.
Like this bag. How much is this bag here?
That bag's 10,500.
Damn.
Yeah, so that's a Chanel 25. It's super hot.
And this is the same concept. You can't just go to Chanel and buy this. You have to have an account history. You have to have purchase history.
Hypothetically, yes. Sometimes you can. At that point, we'll try to price it at retail or a little bit below. But yeah, we'll have a bunch of flat bags. Like these are all super popular.
Yeah.
Everybody wants those, like, especially when it comes to the women's bags. Birkin bags have all been hot. Like we sold a lot over Mother's Day.
And how much are these?
I would say they start at like 20,000 and go all the way to like the Mini Kelly. I think it's 35,000.
What do you think retail is this?
Retail, I want to say like 14 on like maybe 12. Yeah, the retail's a lot lower. Like the resale on Hermes bags is strong, but good luck ever getting one at retail.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have to have a healthy spend. You're gonna have to build your account history that most people don't want to do. They just want to buy the bag.
Out of the wall of bags, what do you think is like the most expensive one?
Our craziest one right now, this multicolored backpack. This one's 45,000, 50 ball maybe.
50 ball?
Yeah.
And what are you putting in there that makes it 50 ball? Like?
Maybe you put a couple 100,000 in there. Maybe you put a MacBook that you can make a couple 100,000 on. I'm not sure. It's a very cool bag. I think a lot of times when it gets to this level with the Chrome Heart bags, people are getting them to collect and they're building a collection. Maybe that bag's never even seeing the light of day. It's just going into a closet or going into a display at a house.
And I can't go into the Chrome store and be like, let me buy this.
No. Maybe if you're a super VIP or you're a crazy celebrity like Timothée Chalamet, but like, yeah, you yourself, no, I probably couldn't. Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just saying it'd be cooked.
The rack that everybody wants. What is the most expensive Chrome Hearts jeans that you have in here?
This one.
How much is this?
One of one, 35,000.
And what makes it 35,000?
It's exclusive. It's only one in the world.
How do you know that?
Find another.
Is it just like the color combination?
It's the color patches. It's the combo. These have went up though. Like they used to be a $20,000 jean, but now there's not many real ones on the market. There's not many this size on the market, and just especially the fact of being one-on-one makes it very expensive.
And how do you authenticate it? Because I know Ben from Luxbox told me he took a fat ass loss.
Yeah, a lot of people try to sell fake Chrome jeans, and we got to be super careful. So I myself vet it. My staff vets it. The details, the receipt.
Can you give me like a 4-step? If you had to,
I know exactly where this jean come. I had the receipt. I have the receipt or a photo of the receipt. I had verification from the client. I had all the details, and on top of checking this jean.
But if I were to check it, like, what are the 4 things I have to look for? Like, so the tag?
I would say you look for, like, the wash tags is important. You look for the leather tag. I look at, like, the buttons and the silver hardware. I always look at the patches. You turn the jean inside out. Some of the newer jeans, this is an older jean, so it wouldn't have it, but some of the newer jeans have a stamp on the inside. A lot of times, the fakes have been getting so good, you've got to check your source. You've got to check the pant. You've got to check everything. And you can't ever be too careful. So if anything feels funny on Chrome, I pass.
What makes it feel funny? Is it like the patch?
Weird prices. Like you can tell off rips. Like if somebody told me, hey, I got this jean, 8,000.
Yeah.
Pass. You can pass without even needing to blink.
Yeah.
Because like the price I paid for that was not a price that you would be like suspicious about.
Yeah. How long will it sit here before somebody comes and buys it for 35?
I would say it depends. It could sell next day. It could also take a long time. It's not a guarantee. So it's a big risk. When you buy Chrome and you shell out that kind of money, it's a product that's likely to sit a little bit because it's so high end. But we have a great clientele. We kind of curate a good selection of pieces that they're always checking. So I don't know.
So this rack is probably what, like $250,000? He's quickly doing the math.
70. Is that like a 290 month?
200,000 is crazy. If I was a clothing brand owner today, right, and I wanted to build a brand that's like Pally, that's like Better With Age, what advice do you have for that brand owner?
Get it in the hands of the right people. You look at a brand like Pally, it was in the hands of the right people. It was put into the right stores. It was curated in the right way. I think a lot of people want to rush and make a ton of product. Once they have a hit item, they start throwing it out there in the market and putting it everywhere. Keep it limited. If you really want to grow and keep your brand exclusive, make small runs. That's not impossible because when you're working with a small budget, you can, obviously you don't have much to spend anyways.
Yeah.
Just keep it small, keep it exclusive, and get in the right people.
And if I wanted to get into a store like this, what advice do you have for me?
I would say keep working hard. Don't be afraid to reach out. Definitely shoot your shot. You never know if it's going to go in. I remember when I used to have my brand and I would just email all these local stores. They didn't fucking respond.
Yeah.
But shoot or shoot, right?
How many brands reach out to you to be placed in this store, and then how many do you actually accept?
I would say we probably get like 5 to 10 a week.
Of like inquiries?
Yeah, of inquiries. I would say like one or two a year that we accept.
1 or 2 a year.
Yeah. just because we have to be careful about like our curation, and we want it to like be a brand that really makes sense with our product mix. Like we can't get a ton of other brands that look like Pally or ERD, because those are our top selling products.
Yeah.
We don't want to dilute our top product. We can't just put anything in here.
Yeah.
So it can't just be you have your brand that you made in the back of your basement or your back of your house and you want to just throw it. Nah, bro. Like you got to build it up. You got to come with the brand image. You got to have the branding on point, and it's got to look cool too.
And how did you build the bankroll to have? Because you probably have millions of inventory. How did you build that bankroll?
Just many years working hard, building genuine relationships with our clientele, with our consigners, creating a premium service that is unbeatable.
Can you tell me how much you can make from running a business like this? Ballpark?
Federal questions right here.
He's media trained. He's gonna dodge this one. Watch.
Nah, I can't answer that one. But you can definitely do really well for yourself. You can make a lot of great, genuine connections. I love it myself, so I'm every day doing something I love more than anything, more than money, cars, clothes, whatever it may be. I'm doing something I love, and that's the best part about it all.
What's the biggest loss you've taken?
I would say losing product. There's a lot of scammers on the internet, so fraudulent orders. I don't have an exact number, but it was a lot, bro.
Like 10,000, 20,000?
Yeah, it was a lot,
Somewhere
bro.
around there?
It was a lot.
What about the biggest win? What's the biggest win that you've had?
I've won every day when I wake up, man. I have a beautiful wife. I have a beautiful family, and I'm blessed. So nothing to complain about.
I feel like you're in the front end of like seeing all the trends. What do you think is like the next trend?
I think the next trend is, I think watches have been huge. I think that's like a new lane that a lot of people are getting into. You see it, Moses, all the jewelers. Streetwear is cool. I think people are getting into more niche pieces that have less of a design. So like basics, blanks. Like you see this Balenciaga piece is pretty calm. That's the kind of stuff that I think is coming.
So less loud graphics, less rhinestones, and just more muted.
I think that's what's going to be next.
You're big on protecting your brand. How do you do that? Like, what advice do you have for protecting your brand?
Just remember that you're always an embodiment of your brand. Myself, my staff, everything that goes into this company. So just making sure I'm representing the brand as best I can, making good decisions when I'm here, when I'm not here.
Like even the little things, like when we came in here, he offered us water and he got Saratoga waters in the back. Not the Dasanis, not the Kirkland, you got the Saratogas.
Yeah, always giving people the kind of experience that I would want. Treat everybody like they're at your home. You might be at our business, but you're going to be treated like you're somebody that is respected and valued.
I love that. Last question. If you could go back to the 18-year-old version of yourself, you're envisioning building a company like this, what's one advice you would give yourself?
I wouldn't give myself any advice because everything that I wanted growing up, I've achieved. I was always really good at writing goals, so I wrote down all these goals, and all these goals I had, I've already achieved. I've been working hard my whole life. So everything I got from this company, from my life, has been through the hard work. So staying down, I started selling shoes when I was 12, 13 years old. So nothing happens overnight. So staying down and having that kind of steady grind has been the key for me. Because I'm 27 now, so that's 14 years. Can't make this up.
That's Behind the Brand with Superline, Showroom LA. Make sure you guys tap in. We stay giving y'all free game.
Oh, that was dope.
Appreciate it, bro.
Brother,
Thank you.
Appreciate you, bro.